Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Massachusetts in Ranked. If you haven't played Ranked for a while, I would recommend it this patch, since there are no carriers allowed. Just beautiful. There are subs allowed, unfortunately, but so far I haven't actually found too many of them in the Ranked queue, thank goodness. So Massachusetts and all your Tier 8 brawling battleships that you've left in port for the last, year can now be played, and you can have a good time with them. Bayard here pushing in the middle very aggressively, and that's an instant punish. Feels great, and then our Mines actually finishes them off. Excellent start for us. Massachusetts is, of course, one of the best possible options for a Tier 8 ranked season, since you get into such close ranges that the dispersion penalty that a Massachusetts has over something like a North Carolina or an Alabama isn't as bad, and we get to take advantage of these amazing secondaries and this healing. This heal comes back in 40 seconds, which allows us to take a lot of damage, but not die. That's kind of the whole point here. 406s are going to do decent damage if they hit those citadels. Congress, much like Alaska, similar hull, does not have a very easy to hit citadel, so unfortunately we don't do too much damage. But these secondaries have improved accuracy, and we're going to have a lot of damage out of them in this game. There are a lot of other good battleships for brawling in this game mode, and we're going to look at a few of them over the next few days here, as I was bouncing around different ships. Massachusetts, Bismarck, Brandenburg, Lenin was amazing, all these ships. I've tried some Flandre, Atlantico. There's a whole bunch of amazing brawling battleships at this tier that you just don't have the option to play as well or as much in random battles. I tend to not play tier 8 or much low tier these days, and the reason is these up tiers are pretty common. I haven't done any sort of statistics on it. This is just pure gut feeling, but it feels like the up tier ratio is around 60 to 70% of the time, which feels pretty bad, man, when you're trying to push it in Brawl, as that kind of playstyle is certainly not the meta these days. So if you're in an up tier and you're trying to go against the meta, pretty difficult. But I would definitely recommend it this ranked season. At least trying to play the Bronze League stuff at tier 8. You don't have to grind through tier 6 or anything like that to get to these fun tier 8s. And maybe don't go up to tier 10. I don't know. I'll probably end up there soon enough, and we'll see if I can make something like an Ohio or these other tier 10 brawling battleships work. But for now, we're playing the Massachusetts, and we're reversing into the cap. I'm playing a little passive here, certainly, but I'm a little worried about the destroyer, and I don't want to get stuck bow in here necessarily. It's a little worried that perhaps our team losing the A flank as well means we're just going to get crossfired into oblivion, so I need to worry about getting cross-shotted, and just have an escape route is essentially what we need to do. Now, against an enemy Massachusetts, how do you deal with this thing? Well, you got to hit superstructure. If it's not broadside, you just aim for the superstructure. It's pretty small, especially relative to things like Iowa and Georgia, for example, at tier 9. But at these closer ranges, we can still get some really nice damage into them. As well as lighting these fires with these secondaries is pretty nice. There is no fast damage control, so if you see a Massachusetts uses damage con and he's angled to you, it can sometimes be worth it to just swap over to the HE and try and light some permanent fires. Sure, there's a lot of healing, but a lot of permanent fires can take this thing down relatively quickly. We got a lot of help from our team here in the focusing on this guy, which is nice. That should help us stay alive and keep enough HP to hopefully carry this game into the late game. But still not trying to overcommit. It's very easy to get yourself into crossfires, and like this enemy Massachusetts has, a little overzealous, and you get caught out and punished for it. It's not an invincible ship, but it is very strong and fun to play at these close range situations. Again, reversing back into the cap here, and still a little bit worried about that DD. We still haven't seen him, so not sure where those torps are coming from. But a Kansas is going to push in. I'm hoping to also deal with the enemy Bismarck, but for now, just the Kansas. The secondaries here really want to be played at mid to long range, honestly. Given their accuracy, we really do hit a lot of shells, and it's important to hit areas of the ship that you can actually pen. With these secondaries, you're never getting up to 32 millimeters of pen, even with IFHE, so it's not worth taking. You're really reliant on hitting superstructures. And at these longer ranges, you can see with these arcs on these secondaries, they're typically going to hit the superstructure, if anything, when they hit the middle of the ship, which is really nice because that is going to do some full pen damage. And even though Massachusetts not known for the full pen damage necessarily on these secondaries, more fires, especially compared to the German battleships, which do a lot more full pen damage, we're going to get a lot here. We get the solo cap, Kansas being a 40-second reload battleship, at least without Adrenaline Rush, means we actually can cap in between his reloads in ranked. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend a Kansas or a Vermont necessarily for some of these ranked seasons. I know they can smash, especially Vermont at tier 10. That one probably works just fine. But not so sure about a Kansas. If you're grinding though, fair enough. But Massachusetts versus Kansas at these closer ranges, not exactly the fairest fight. Another fire and up over 100k damage pretty easily now. Now keep in mind, we lost the A flank very, very early in this game, and they're actually ahead on ships. I had some really good teammates in this one, actually. Our NC went up north and kind of soloed there against both the DD and that cruiser for us, allowing me to focus on the center here. And then our DD has been playing the flank perfectly and not actually dying and just torping and being a nuisance as these guys are trying to take the A-cap. He didn't even let the Bismarck get the A-cap. That's pretty impressive. I will say, you don't always get good DDs on your team in ranked, but when they show up, I very much appreciate it. Teams, of course, are very important when it comes to ranked. You do have a lot more battle impact relative to random battles, just as there's fewer players, so your contribution matters more. But it's not a game mode where you can just solo win games all the time. We're going to have a lot of battle impact in this one. Without a Citadel there, like 23,000 damage, that's really nice for Massachusetts. Done a lot of damage, helped cap, got some kills, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you still need some teammates, and they are random who you get on your team. So at the end of the day, you can't expect to go perfect in ranked all the time. It's very, very difficult. So it's more of a test of patience, honestly, is how I find ranked, rather than a test of skill, at least getting to ranked 1. A lot of people can do it, even of average skill level, just with enough time. Since it's not exactly an elo system, the way the stars work, you just slowly gain stars over time, generally, is kind of how it goes. It'll take a long time, though. Now, last but not least, we have the DD to deal with, and there's some of that bad dispersion. A little bit rough. His torps are going to hit us, but it's not too bad. I'm waiting for him to maybe open up, and that's when I'll shoot my rear gun, since I don't exactly trust it against a bow on destroyer. And yeah, we only get 1 hit, so we actually don't even kill this DD here. But it's still a win. Feels good. This was one of the first games I was playing, of course. Had to go in with my Massachusetts. 165k damage. Feels kind of nice. Nearly 3k base. 2.9k base is very, very good. And look at that. 43,000 alpha damage from these secondaries. Don't always see that. That feels pretty nice. That's where you definitely want to keep enemy battleships in that mid to long range so you can get those superstructure hits. As for the build here on the Massachusetts, it seems like I'm always tweaking just little things here and there with these secondary battleship builds. So you're going to notice they're not always all that consistent. But for now, this is what I am running with. I want the extra healing on this ship, even though we could get it with improved repair party readiness. If you're at really close range and taking a lot of damage, you won't always get that 2 million potential damage. So getting that 5th heal is very nice, as we're often getting back to that rather quickly, thanks to the special heal on this ship. Adrenaline Rush for the damage increase, and of course, secondary build. That leaves us not taking fire prevention. It's a little harder to position without fire prevention, but that just does allow us to take concealment. In ranked, you probably don't need concealment, just based on how I was positioning. I didn't really make much use of concealment, so I should probably swap it over to fire prevention, just if I'm playing ranked battles, to be honest with you. Grease the gears, allowing us to be a little more flexible at close range. We already have decent torp protection, so, I mean, we're still going to eat a lot of damage, even if we have vigilance with torpedoes, but 46% here is fine enough, and we're trying to dodge them anyway. Gun feeder allows us to swap to HE, which sometimes I would like to do, given that Massachusetts has these 406s. Don't always have that 30 millimeters of overmatch like we do with like a Georgia or an Ohio with those 457s. So sometimes HE can be the right play. Now, it feels a little bad to be playing such a good ship that is impossible to get right now. So that's where I'd have to recommend. As always, if you're looking for the best value of spending money on World of Warships, wait until Black Friday. That is when you have the possibility of getting the B version, the Black Friday version. Same ship, just different camo. Works exactly the same, and you actually get a discount on it too. So it's like 9,000 doubloons, somewhere in there on Black Friday. Very, very good ship to get, and there's several others that are only available around that Black Friday time. Also, sometime around then, they also give you half off a year of premium. Those two deals, Black Friday ships and the half off, 50% off the year of premium. Those are the best value options if you're wanting to spend money on this game. So I apologize that I show off this ship having a lot of fun in ranked, and it's not available right now. But if you have it, it's a great time. And don't you worry, we're going to be playing with a lot of these other brawling battleships. Bismarck, for example, easy to get, just tech tree. And I've had some really good games so far, and I'm looking forward to playing some more ranked. It's been a while, so I'm excited to get back into these tier 8 brawling battleships. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.